JJB first up for us this afternoon. Wigan and West Bromwich Albion, followed of course later by Sunderland and Chelsea at the Stadium of Light. But right now it is Wigan and the Baggies. Interactive of course. Sky Digital viewers, push the red button on your remote control and follow the instructions for that facility. Commentators Alan Smith and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Well, Nathan Ellington left Wigan in August, probably thinking he stood a better chance of staying in the Premiership. It ended his very profitable partnership with Jason Roberts. They've got 45 goals between them, which spearheaded Wigan's promotion drive. Roberts, of course, joined Wigan from West Brom. It's a battle of the different shades of blue. All royal blue for West Brom with their change kit. The blue and white stripes today, along, of course, to the home side. West Brom with this woeful away record. How to win in the Premiership since March on their travels. Only 3 away goals scored in this campaign. And Brian Robson spelling it out quite clearly that that's how they've got to improve. But now the latest challenge from Steve Watson gives referee Martin Atkinson an early decision, an easy one, to give Wigan the free kick. Signs of wear and tear and repair on the JJB pitch. Here's Jonathan Greening. Well, Leighton Baines, some good news for Paul Jewell that he was fit again, but for both managers for this fixture, and bearing in mind they both face cup replays early next week, just getting a sufficiently fit 16 for the team sheet was pretty difficult. And Bullard being asked to do a role that he probably doesn't enjoy. He doesn't like playing wide on the right of midfield, let alone wide on the left, but he's doing it for the team, and here he is. Losing out to Ronnie Warwork. Owen Kavanagh passed the fitness test this morning on a calf strain. Lee McCulloch went in from the warm-up to get some extra strapping on his damaged groin and is limping about up front with Roberts at the moment, certainly not moving with full freedom.
Well, when you haven't won away all season, West Brom, first thing you want to do is just get off to a nice, solid start. Make sure you don't give any unnecessary encouragement to the opposition to keep the shape. West Brom, often a confidence thing, isn't it? I've been involved in these runs where you just can't buy a win away from home. Just that one often leads to a couple more. Brian Robson certainly needs something.
What he has got today is the backing of an extra helping of supporters provided by a free coach service that the club has put on to get fans from the Midlands up to the northwest. And stand behind the goal that Wigan are attacking in this first half. And it's Buller, who's still here despite apparent interest from other Premiership clubs in the transfer window, like Manchester City and Middlesbrough. West Brom entering a period of matches where they will be hoping to pep up their points tally. Got Sunderland at home to come, Blackburn and Middlesbrough also at the Hawthorns, trips to Charlton and Fulham. And with Ellington with an extra incentive today, we'll hope that this elusive away win could become reality in a couple of hours' time. Here's Greening. Aims across. The front of the goalkeeper to make it difficult for Mike Pollitt to make his catch.
Decent enough pass, wasn't it, from Watson? Food and drink for a striker. Normally expect one of Campbell or Ellington to have made that move.
Watson played in 5 different positions for West Brom over the 4 holiday games. That's the versatilities at right back today. And there's Shana, who of course was brought on as a central midfield player against Arsenal and marked that debut with a goal, and certainly injecting a bit of pace, having won the ball here.
Inamoto knew he was not going to get anywhere near this ball. Forced to just nudge the man aside.
Taken by Bullard. Roberts could have had a swing on it with his left foot. Still refuses to do so. Comes out to Kavanagh. Kevin Campbell is there to help out.
It's good vision from Bullard. Nice quick free kick into his striker's feet, and that's the last thing you want to do with Jason Roberts. Very hard to shake off the ball. So strong in those areas.
Watson disguising the pass into the feet of Woolwork. Moto, one of a lot of players in the Premiership with World Cup aspirations later this year, wanting to be involved directly in club football to keep his sharpness. I'm sure the national team managers are taking note. Greening. Has had a very good season for West Brom. He's recently given the man-for-man marking job on Wayne Rooney, which was going very well until he collided with one of his own players and stretched it off. And a bulldog approach.
Nice and positive when they do get the ball. Darren Carter playing in quite an advanced position, almost alongside Ellington, the left midfielder, and the long free kicks come in.
Moto got the better of Shana. Woolwork, and it was a chance just to thread it through for Ellington. And it's a foul by Lee McCulloch, who was brought here to Wigan originally as a striker from Motherwell in Scotland, and Paul Jewell saw a role for him last season on the left of midfield. He had a tremendous time in that promotion campaign, and that's where he's been playing predominantly in his Premiership matches. Gary Teal's another converted striker. He's wide on the right. Campbell. To pursue, collected by Baines.
Just sometimes on the break where Wigan will miss Henri Camera's pace, that lightning pace of his. Always takes a chance, the striker. Slightly different threat with Lee McCulloch, of course, loves to play with his back to goal, hold it up. Used it okay, nice little link up between Ellington and Kevin Campbell, give and go. I think those two strikers this afternoon.
Aaron Moore's gone towards the near post, a potentially powerful presence. And it was a very good shot from Steve Watson.
Say it was an excellent ball in from Darren Carter. It really was right on the money into Darren Moore. He gets the flick on needed. Couldn't catch it any better. Steve Watson right at the keeper. You'd expect Pollock to save that. Set piece though.
Nice progressive start from West Bromwich Albion, producing another corner and another problem for Pollock, who's in danger of being crowded, but got a hand to it. Woolwork, and the flag has gone up, hits the bar from Ellington, but it wouldn't have counted.
Fully relieved that the flag did go up there. Ellington is going to get some stick this afternoon. A little slip up though from Wigan. came out. You can see he is offside. Ellington only just. Chimbonda misses the ball. Ellington misses the target.
Minamoto. Bullard got the winner at West Brom for Wigan back in September, so they're looking for yet another first in this amazing season for them, a Premiership double. McCulloch. There's a little bit of a shovel shot from Shana.
It was, but it was a decent ball into Liam McCulloch. They've just got to be careful they don't sit too deep, West Bromwich Albion, and allow those balls played into the two centre forwards. It's been a lot. He was being closed down quickly, Shana.
He's known in his native Austria as being very much his own man. As the hairstyle tells you that, he has his own personal psychologist. But, the management team here have said, well, you can do that, go and see him outside your football hours, but we do the psychology here. Paul Jewell and Chris Hutchings.
We've just got to kick off Stefan Ansha. Psychologist will make that one.
Bullard, where he's more comfortable in the middle. It's been a good tempo to the opening 10 minutes here. We always like to play at high speed. Chimbonda, Kavanagh going in. And it's fired too high by Roberts.
Oh, it's a chance, isn't it? First time that Wigan do get down the sides and get into a good position. It's a really good chance for Graham Kavanagh. That's a really clever little give and go from Chimbonda. Great defending though from Curtis Davis. Really was. Kavanagh can't quite get over it.
Graham Kavanagh has scored one Premiership goal in his life. It was almost 10 years ago. Middlesbrough win at Leeds United. He was only centimetres away from converting that real first Wigan chance. Here comes Chimbonda again, who's integral to the way they've been playing. Kavanagh again. Tough by Monchot. Fixture with too much history. It's only the fourth season that the two clubs have been in the same division in league football. Three different divisions, in fact. Minamoto. Roberts. And Carter claiming that he was impeded then, tight on the touchline.
Well, Wigan, I think, have just stepped it up in the last 5 minutes or so. They've found their feet in this game now. After a quietish start. Work rate always very high from Paul Jewell's side.
Moore making off with the ball. Of course, he's a player well known to Paul Jewell, the opposing manager today. They were together at Bradford City. To refresh your memory, Paul Jewell only had one season in charge of Bradford City. He kept them up and moved on to Sheffield Wednesday. Roberts, the bulldozer way through.
You're going to try and get a man in front of Roberts there. The ball came from the long distance along the floor. A little too easy to get the ball into the centre forward for Wigan. Need somebody just to stand in front of midfielder if they can to stop that supply line.
Kavanagh. Bullard. And the flag has gone up. Jason Roberts being picked out by balls into his feet, and he's stronger on the ball. He seems a stronger character in the Premiership this time around than he was when he was with West Brom.
Well, I think goals make the difference, and okay, he hasn't had a hatful, but all in all, I think he's added more consistency to his play. I think he's starting to believe that he can make an impression in the Premiership. Dangerous moments for West Brom, though.
He and Nathan Ellington were terrific pals. They still are. They used to share a house together when they were Wigan teammates. There'll be a private battle here.
I'm sure there's been a bit of banter beforehand. Who can get the goal, hasn't there? The way strikers are. They'll come out top, find the back of the net.
Well, Jason Roberts paid a visit to the West Brom hotel yesterday afternoon. A bit of gossip. Here's Teal. And now Bullard. Baines, who's been developed here successfully by Wigan into an England under-21 international. Teal. It's a bit obvious, really, from McCulloch.
Appealing for the handball. Well, Darren Moore, but he got the shot before that. In front of the referee's assistant. Got away with it. Played much football, has he, Darren Moore? He'll just be finding his second win in the early stages.
There's Neil Clement on this long West Brom injury list. Kanu, Gira, Gardser, Horsfield, Johnson. Camera away with international commitments. Ricky Shimmick has been allowed to leave. He's moved to Cardiff City. If you're fit, you're playing, I think was Brian Robson's team selection policy. Carter takes. Curtis Davis, who's made light of the step up from Luton into the Premiership. If we could have let play go on, but maybe Albion will be happy to take a more considered approach to the free kick that has been given.
Darren Carter is the man that's taken these set pieces, and that earlier corner was a peach. Can you deliver something similar?
Remember, just 3 away goals all season in the Premiership for West Bromwich Albion. Moto lucky to get a second go at it, and a third. Carter. Chance maybe for Wigan to counter-attack here. Roberts. Tackle, and then the handball is given. Brian Robson has to rush off at the final whistle this afternoon to a football writers' dinner in London, which is honouring Brian's services to football. He'll enjoy the evening that much more if he travels south with 3 points under West Brom's belt. Zeu, who is a real danger coming up for set pieces, but now he's getting back to his duties defensively against Nathan Ellington, who's the latest subject of player cam for you. You're a Sky Digital viewer using the red button on the remote.
Well, his side just need to try and find a way back into this game now. They're not getting much joy going forward in terms of getting support into those front men. Know how well Wigan can defend. Oncho, DeZeo, really good, tough, experienced backmen. They won't give any presents today, you'd think.
Chimbonda. Cut out by by Moore, whose place will be under pressure, it seems, next week. Ugo Ehiogu, the deal very nearly done to bring Ehiogu back to West Brom. He started there, of course. He hasn't played for West Bromwich Albion since 1991. Bullard, Kavanagh, closing down by Inamoto, but it ran on to Gary Teal.
Big workload on Junichi Inamoto and Ronnie Warwork, because Jimmy Bullard likes to come inside and support Kavanagh and Chana.
McCulloch for Roberts. More than the players appealing for the handball. Chana. Get his free kick. Wellington. Adopting a let's play on policy. McCulloch. It's too far even for the running power of Roberts. One or two complaints by the Wigan players, thinking that Martin Atkinson might have missed a decision or two against Darren Moore. Watson. Remember, Wigan already with 34 points. That was enough for Brian Robson to keep West Brom up last season. Albion looking for a strong second half showing. But, gave them their near miraculous recovery. He thought he could get there, Warwork.
It was a 50-50, the ball was there to be won. Maybe just a fraction late, but nothing intentional for me from Ronnie Warwork. Bouncing ball, both eyes on the ball. Got injured from it, Baines, but he's going to get a booking for it. A bit surprised with that one.
Well, Martin Atkinson's been promoted to the FIFA list with relatively roaring Premiership experience, but I guess sometimes the higher you go, the more you have to do it by the book. And it does mean not just the booking for Ronnie Warwork, but a one-game ban to come. Thomas Kujak is really pleased at West Brom this season with the way he's taken to regular first-team duties, with Chris Kirkland having bad luck with injuries again. And he's keeping Kirkland out at the moment. Bullard.
It's a battle at the moment, isn't it, for both sets of players. Wigan been pretty comfortable defensively, but haven't put together as many moves as we've seen him in the past here at the JJB.
Yes, it's whether they can find a goal threat without Henri Camara.
Yeah, it's just mixes it up for them, doesn't it? They've had Camara for most of the season, and him and Jason Roberts have formed quite a good partnership, a good understanding. All of a sudden, you've just got to adjust your play, the midfielders in particular. They're looking up for a pass.
Teal. Like the ball by Chimbonda. Kevin Blackwell, the Leeds United manager, and doing a very good job of it as well. And he's got that FA Cup replay that you'll see live on Sky Sports on Tuesday. And the Everton contingent are here. David Moyes and Alan Irvine alongside him. Good win for them at Pompey yesterday. It was a good result for West Bromwich Albion, really, and Birmingham's defeat. They can, if they win this game, go above Middlesbrough. At the moment they're defending. Jimmy Bullard's cross makes it easy for them to do that.
Well, he's disappointed with that. He hasn't gone into those positions a lot. I think that's probably the first time. Wasted opportunity. Work the ball well here. Get the spare man in Bullard. 2 or 3 queuing up in the middle, and he just skews his cross. Great attitude, hasn't he, Jimmy Bullard? Always got a smile on his face. Tremendous work rate.
He waited a long time to get into full-time football. He was in a non-league game with Gravesend and Northfleet. Then West Ham took him but didn't play him. Peterborough gave him his chance, and certainly the services given to Wigan have been nothing short of phenomenal, really. Strong by Campbell. Ball's up for Ellington again. Steve Watson's got forward into the middle, which means they're a bit short at right back. The ball didn't get there. Trying to keep it in, and it's the Wigan right back, Chimbonda.
Well, they
have to do the defending.
They haven't had much ball up front, but when they do get it, just got to make sure they don't give it away. Ellington with a sloppy pass. The move breaks down.
Campbell. Gone just to the left. What Campbell was looking for. Baines. Here's Paul Robinson. Sancho was shirt tight on Nathan Ellington.
That's the way it's been. Oncho and Desire, they do like to get tight. Oncho in particular loves a physical battle against his striker.
He loses that one in the air to Ellington. Just gets a toe to the ball to stop the he's gone forward, accelerating away and giving Wigan a problem. Davis standing his ground with great determination. McCulloch. Now Sharner. Chimbonda trying to just come in from the right back position. Staying wide was Teal. Chimbonda even further forward. They do get numbers into the box for the crosses. Greening tucked back well. Kavanagh. Rushed the shot.
A couple of those, hasn't he, Graham Kavanagh? Wigan have looked a threat whenever Pascal Chimbonda has got up there and gave them an extra man. This time they managed to keep the ball in the final third. Wasted in the end, bit of a skew. Won't want to look at that one again too many times, Graham Kavanagh.
It's noticeable yesterday when Trevor Sinclair gave Manchester City the lead in the Manchester derby, how many City players were forward. So the ball that dropped just had a better chance of dropping to the right coloured shirt from the attacking team's point of view. Campbell provides some leadership. Stopped Campbell maybe having a sniff of a chance there from Greening's cross.
Just swap wings there, Jonathan Greening. He'd hardly got a kick down on the right-hand side, but decided to try his luck over on the other flank. Darren Carter on the right now.
Carter. Coming in from the left. His only goal for West Brom came against Wigan in that 2-1 home defeat back in September. This was Dave Matthews, one of the real unsung heroes of professional football. He's been involved at West Brom for 45 years. Over 20 different managers he's served. Absolutely tremendous record. To sort out what colours they were going to wear today. The Premier League said it could be this royal blue or an all-white strip. The referee's decision in the end. Very important points on offer here today. West Brom knowing that to put together some results away from home. They cannot rely on the times excellently intimidating atmosphere that they get from games at the Hawthorns. They can't rely on their results on their own ground. As for Wigan, they're so close to achieving their main objective of securing another season in the Premiership.
You can see it in West Brom, can't you? The fact that they haven't won away. There's a bit of a tentative approach, not a lot of confidence at times when they get the ball.
And Roberts tripped by Warwork, who is now walking the disciplinary tightrope.
I just think that was one of those where the heels accidentally clipped. Nothing in it, but you have seen yellow cards produced for those kind of offences, but we wouldn't want to see it here. And then the red card.
One of those shall we positions, really. Maybe just too far out to go for the shot, although with the mechanics of the Premiership football, hit it hard and hope and let maybe the ball do the rest.
When it's straight like this, it's difficult to get a decent ball into the box. The angle's not with you. Maybe they'll just hit it and hope.
That's what Bullard does. Skimmed through to Cusack, who got everything behind it.
It's always worth the shout, isn't it? Because you just never know what kind of touch it will get on the way in. Nothing on that occasion. Simple for Cusack.
Good leap by De Zeu. Lessening of that in the ageing legs. Colour.
Pulled him back there, Darren Moore. Like he pulled Liam McCullough back. He went up for the header. There they see the arm on the face, the hand on the face. He knew exactly what he was doing, Darren Moore. Holding him back, holding McCullough back.
The free kick's a little bit nearer this time. It's slightly more to the right. From Wigan's point of view, it's another caution for West Brom. Moore joining Warwork. Having a look at this one. Just past the half-hour mark here. West Brom started positively. We're going to force them back to some extent. Kavanagh does force a save, but it's not a difficult one from Thomas Cusack.
Well, you always try and get those kind of efforts on target. He did that, Kavanagh, with a decent enough strike. Just over the wall in the corner, but Cusack knows exactly what Kavanagh's trying now.
Warwork. Got the ball and got a free kick.
I think they need a little bit of that, West Brom, a little bit of drive from midfield. Bursting through to try and support the two front men who've been a little bit isolated at times.
Just one win in their last 30 away games in the Premiership. And that was against a team with 10 men, Charlton. Last March. Carter. Greening. Two Wigan players are going for the same ball, De Zeu and Chimbonda. In from Curtis Davis. Greening. And hesitation there allowed Campbell to get in. It's a corner in the end. It could easily have been 1-0 to West Bromwich Albion.
I'm surprised at Stefan Oncho. Actually, he's the kind of defender that normally just clears his lines and asks questions later. They do well, West Brom, to keep it in that area, but when the ball's bouncing in this direction and you've got a striker breathing down your neck, it's always a little bit risky, isn't it, to try and shepherd the ball back, and Campbell's a little bit unlucky.
Carter to take the corner. 10 minutes or so left in this first half. Robinson.
Not his best, that one, was it?
Ellington. Flick to Carter. Challenged down by Kavanagh. West Brom have hardly been doing is drawing matches in the Premiership. Just had one. Here against Middlesbrough.
They'd take a draw today, wouldn't they? Point on the travels. Take that right now.
Wigan I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
West Brom would certainly take the draw.
I think Wigan would as well. You know, they can just get them in singles if you like, just to the final push. The points that will mean survival. And they're still thinking of that, even though they're starting this game 6th in the table, and should they win it, they will be level on points again with Arsenal. You'd offer that to Paul Jewell back in August, you would have bitten your hand off. And here's Greening, picking out Carter, who stayed on the right-hand side. For Ronnie Warwork, he doesn't get forward that often. Shows that stronger contact and West Brom could have been getting the delights of an away goal. Ellington rather just bounced softly off him. Nothing soft about Inamoto in that challenge.
Just stepped it up a little bit. West Brom gained a little bit of confidence. A couple of glints of sunlight up front there where they've got the ball into some dangerous areas.
Campbell. Atmosphere in the stadium. Wigan, the league games have been getting excellent attendances, and I missed the earlier news. The West Bromwich Albion Football Club offered free coach travel to supporters for this fixture, and that offer was taken up in good numbers. Here's Bullard, trying to express himself. The centre of Wigan's midfield. Chimbonda. He's a very expressive player himself. Jinking and working and produce an opening. Chimbonda, McCulloch and O'Teal possibly was there for a fraction of a second to be hit.
It came to him extremely sharply, didn't it? Ball into the box, and I just think he expects a touch. Was it McCulloch in front of him before it comes to Gary Teal? That maybe just put him off. The striker went for it.
Spectacularly forward by Baines. Roberts. Let's to use his power. In the end, it's the strength of Darren Moore that was the factor that mattered then. Goalkeeper's ball. Robinson.
a bit more belief now, aren't they? West Brom sense that coming up to half-time. It's been a pretty decent, solid performance from them. I'm sure Brian Robson will be delighted if they get to half-time with a clean sheet, but showing a bit more adventure now going forward.
Well, I wonder if there has been a fixture in the Premiership at this stage of a season with such a big gap. 52 points between Sunderland and Chelsea. And all that to manifest itself out on the pitch at the Stadium of Light. You can find out Sky Sports 1 from 3:30. There's very little between these two teams in the 40 minutes we've had here. Wigan have tried to force the play. Here's Shana, the unknown quantity really. They hammered that goalwards, having scored here on his debut on Tuesday. McCulloch looking to tee up Roberts. Kavanagh, and he hasn't quite connected from just outside the penalty area. Shana did.
He has been it's one of the few times actually that he's just got in between the West Brom midfield. From that angle, it's always going to be difficult. You're just hoping for some knockdowns off the keeper. Gets in on target, moves a little bit in the air, that ball. Don't get a little bit of luck afterwards though. The keeper parries it.
Kavanagh. Oh, Campbell is in behind, on show here. Point in the end deals with it.
That was all about the first touch, that one, wasn't it? He appreciates the pass. Not often he's got any joy out of these two centre-halves, but that had to be spot on. Really didn't, it wasn't from Kevin Campbell.
Tia. Trying to fill this problem position on the left of midfield at the moment for Paul Jewell's team. A switch that's allowed Bullard to get to where he might influence the match more. Robinson. Alan, you know all about Kevin Campbell and played with him, of course, in some very successful times at Arsenal. He's done well to still be going at this stage of his career at this level.
No, he's looked after himself, saw him come through as a youngster, and what he has added is leadership qualities, Kevin. Captain today. Really good career.
And now Roberts. Now the referee is going to send Darren Moore off here. And West Bromwich Albion in trouble on their travels again.
Well, he hasn't got many complaints, has he? He's obviously disappointed with it, but he got himself into a position where he knew he was going to be outstripped for pace. Having said that, he wasn't last man. Brian Robson absolutely furious with it. I don't think so much with the referee's decision, more the fact that he's down to 10 men, facing a really tough task now.
Well, surely he should be angry with the player, really. Carrying a yellow card, Darren Moore. Fearful of Jason Roberts' pace, but he had a long way to run still.
Well, it's it, isn't it? He was over on the right-hand side, and as I say, it wasn't as if the player was through on goal. There were defenders in the middle. So it was a little bit foolish from Darren Moore. You're going to get booked for that 10 times out of 10.
Well, it's given a different dimension. And Brian Robson might just judge that as plain daft.
Well, I was talking about that, wasn't I? Getting to half-time with a clean sheet, and he'd have been pleased with the way his team had stood up to Wigan. It's a different story now. He's going to have to readjust with Albrechtsen, but there can be no argument, no complaints at all about that.
And they're loving this here, the Wigan fans, because the player being taken off to compensate for the sending off to get another defender on Martin Albrechtsen is Nathan Ellington. Through no fault of his own.
In all fairness, he got a lot of claps as well from the fans below us, the Wigan fans. I appreciate what he's done. It's been a frustrating one. You always sacrifice a striker in these situations, so Kevin Campbell up front on his own. It's going to be even more difficult now for the striker and for his team.
One added minute. We talked earlier about Steve Watson's versatility. It's put to the test again. He's the makeshift centre-back. Albertson will play at right-back. Well, they're still fuming down there. Nigel Pearson, the centre-half himself. And Jason Roberts, who certainly wasn't playing for the decision. He tried to get round the outside. You could see quite clearly from the replays that Moore deliberately went across the line of the attacker and left the referee with no option. Tim Bonda. Well, makeshift it may be for Wigan, but it's set up for them here. They've wasted the crossing position from Bullard that time.
That's a couple he's had, actually, not like Jimmy Bullard to waste those positions. They're desperate to try and get a goal. I would imagine now Wigan before half-time. A couple of players to aim at Bullard. It's nowhere near.
Well, it swung Paul Jewell's way with a full half at West Brom 11 against 10, it seems. Brian Robson, if looks could kill. Half-time, plenty of cut and thrust in the first half, but a significant incident as Brian Robson stalks up the tunnel. Martin Atkinson twice showing yellow cards to Darren Moore, and Jason Roberts making that break that led to the second and the more significant one that reduced West Brom to 10 men. And Wigan perhaps not at their sharpest in attack, but they have the advantage here. And the team that can't win away with 11 men reduced to 10 for the second half. It's 0-0 at the JJB at the break. 14 minutes or so on Tuesday are on here, but we should get through without any problems with declining daylight. The evenings happily are getting a bit longer at this time of year. It might be a long second half for West Bromwich Albion. They'll need true grit. They are depleted through the dismissal of Darren Moore. So the onus is on Wigan. In these circumstances it can be a burden, but they have got those league points banked and really can approach this task in a fairly relaxed frame of mind and straight away onto the front foot. Maybe a slightly damaged foot of Lee McCulloch, certainly a damaged leg.
Shanu again, providing the driving force. A few of these shots from that kind of range and not really tested the keeper. It can be an onus on the players when you're up against 10 men. The crowd expects you really to go in and win comfortably, but in the situation many times it's not always that easy. Suddenly the 10 men get a little bit more spirit and resilience about them. The back's against the wall.
Back against an opponent there. Kevin Campbell thought he was being pushed in it, but referee Atkinson didn't agree with that. But whatever happens here, it remains a wonderful story of this Premiership campaign. Wigan Athletic. True romance of the football kind. Be remiss of me in comparing them with West Brom to say, to mention to you that they are well financed here by Dave Whelan, the owner, of course. I think West Brom have the lowest budget in the Premiership. Martin Albertson continued his warm-up during the half-time interval out on the pitch, having been brought on as a substitute right at the end of the first half in that compensation move to another man on at the back. Ended prematurely. Nathan Ellington's return to the JJB. Watson. Breaks for two. The back heel to set up Kavanagh. It's too high for Shana, who scored from about that spot against Arsenal on Tuesday.
It wasn't far out, was it? The cross came in from Kavanagh. Attacks it well, just can't climb high enough. A foot or so above.
We're just trying to reverse it back for Carter's run, but Leighton Baines seems to have got back to match sharpness pretty quickly after his recent layoff. Albrechtsen. That's troubling Chimbonda and Greening. A hopeful cross in the end.
He didn't have much to aim at anyway. That's going to be the case. The second half, only Kevin Campbell in there. Bounce beats Chimbonda a little bit too easily. Not quite what he had in mind. Jonathan Greening. They are going to score a goal. They've got to be very clinical in the way that they go forward and the way that they keep the ball.
By no means an over-aggressive side, West Bromwich Albion. In fact, Darren Moore's dismissal, the first they've had in the Premiership this season. Albrechtsen and Robinson, the two full-backs out there now, both had their marching orders in cup ties. And although Brian Robson angry with Darren Moore is one of the most honest and honourable professionals around. Truly decent guy. But he's had a bad moment here.
That's the last thing he wants as well, because he hasn't played much football, has he? He's been second choice, warming the bench at times, and then gets his chance. He's going to have to serve out a suspension.
Looking to hurry that Ugo Ehiogu move through as soon as humanly possible. Chimbonda come out by Inamoto.
That's the problem, isn't it? Inamoto has a little look up. See who he can pass to, and there's absolutely nobody. Kevin Campbell wasn't in a position to receive the ball.
Concentration, the name of the game for the likes of Onshow at the back. Campbell's just stolen half a yard on him. Throw. They have got the help of these travelling fans in that stand behind Pollitt's goal. They need every extra shout, every word of encouragement. McCulloch, he's given it away. Watts very crisply to the feet of Greening, and suddenly Wigan had to turn and try and get back defensively. Robinson trying to get something set up from the Albion throw. Just gets it back himself from Greening. That's positive stuff. The side down to 10 men.
I fancy these set-piece situations represent the best chance of making a breakthrough. And the big guns up, Davies and Watson.
Short to Campbell. Greening. There is Watson. And the next touch when it came was not from an Albion follow-up, which might have given them a shock lead here, but from Onshow conceding the corner.
I climbed really well. Steve Watson, it's a centre-forward's header really back across goal. That's what he was trying, I think.
Wall work. It's an awkward ball. Oh, it's in trouble with the presence of Campbell. Wigan just hanging on there for a moment, trying to get out. Now was Inamoto hanging on to Roberts? I think he was.
Oh, it was a great chance, wasn't it? It was a great save from Pollitt with Kevin Campbell right in front of him. They sunk back in the box a little bit too deep for me, and Campbell gets the first touch, and it's just luck really that Pollitt, keeper's taught to stand there with the arms up, and he gets a little bit of luck in the header comes off that right hand of his, I think it is. Nobody there to snaffle up the rebound.
Well, Alan, you would know better than me, but any sort of touch in that position that Kevin Campbell was in, and you think you scored.
Well, exactly, yeah. And he did get the touch, just a little bit too straight. It's a warning though, isn't it, to Wigan? Seemed to hang back, didn't clear the line, didn't get out of the box.
Campbell again. Talked about his leadership qualities, they're needed in abundance here. A tall order. Paul Jewell with his medical staff a moment or two ago just to check out Lee McCulloch again.
The side haven't played with the confluency going forward that we've seen a lot of times this season here. Getting the ball away once or twice in good areas. Final ball hasn't been right.
The ball has gone out there. I thought he kept it in. The real responsibility on Jason Roberts. But this is the backing. And West Bromwich Albion should be commended with their efforts to help the supporters at this time of year. Only tight after Christmas. Plenty of bus loads provided by the directors at the Hawthorns. And the team benefiting from the support in a situation where they'll need a hero or 10.
Well, I'll be pleased if all the action's up the other end from West Bromwich Albion supporters, and that's where it is at the moment. They've come out this second half with a really positive attitude.
Albrechtson's throw, it's come off Kavanagh's head. Away by Olsher, taken down by Inamoto. Nice footwork from him. The shot didn't lack ambition, but it did lack direction.
He had a chance just to slide it out to Jonathan Greening, but this is the man that had the chance, a really good chance as well. As the ball's played in, he does everything he wants to, he gets the connection, and he's not expecting Pollitt from that range to make a save. But that is a real chance, a golden opportunity wasted for West Brom.
Campbell again. Robertson's dealt with it with the help of his young ally, Curtis Davis, who's in there determinedly again. Now Greening. Jonathan Greening good enough to hold on to the ball and earn the free kick. Any stage where Brian Robson will introduce Robert Earnshaw from the bench. He's been pretty much out of favour. Transfer requests, though, have been turned down, but given outlet with his pace if Campbell tires. There's no sign of tiring for West Bromwich Albion at the moment. Wall work, and this is Albrechtsson. He's in on goal. He's found the goal. It's a fantastic moment for West Bromwich Albion. Down to 10 men. They lead at Wigan, and the substitute, who was only sent on as part of a reshuffle after the sending off, has stunned the home supporters and absolutely thrilled those who are backing West Brom here today.
Well, there were signs that it was coming, wasn't there, in this second half. Wigan's passing hasn't been good, but they get hurried out of it there from Warwork, who times his pass to perfection. And the most unlikely of characters steaming onto it, Albrechtsson keeps his head to slide a really nice effort under Mike Pollitt. The easiest of chances for a substitute defender coming onto the pitch, but he takes it really well. And now they've got something to defend, something to cling on to, West Brom. And you thought it might be the other way round when Darren Moore got sent off.
Albrechtsson sent on to try and stop the flow towards the West Brom goal, but he scored his first goal for the club in astonishing circumstances. And as some grabbing of Watson by Roberts.
Well, maybe just will give Wigan the jolt that Albertson's goal has created. They haven't been at their best, Wigan. Maybe in terms of the spectacle, it's the best thing that could have happened. Tom Drill certainly won't think so. I don't think he'd be that pleased with ways the team have gone about the second half. They've been pushed back to the back foot.
You're absolutely right, Alan. The signs were there. It was a gritty, gutsy start to the second half from Brian Robson's depleted team. But it's more than that now. They're standing up in honour of Albertson's goal and the character shown collectively. Either side, remember, without an away win in the Premiership since March. West Brom just don't win away with a full hand. Here they are leading.
It's one of those situations now, isn't it? What do you do? Do you hold what you have, or just try and remain positive and keep pushing on? Attack is the best form of defence. We've heard it so many times, but it's not always easy, especially when you haven't won away from home before this season.
And here's Sharna. Collett. Study of Watson using his know-how then to deal with the situation. Didn't foul McCulloch really. Certainly not in the minds of what defenders always get away with.
Well, it's good defensive play. He's experienced. I think they might need that experience. Watson. His ground, but can't go anywhere.
There'll be no hurry from Kuszczak until the referee is going to get on with it. Well, he's one short of 50 appearances for West Bromwich Albion. And now he has broken his scoring duck.
Credit to him for making that run. Reacting when Ronnie Warwork settled on the ball. He wasn't hesitant at all. Albertson probably surprised himself the way he finished it.
Warwork deserves a huge amount of credit for his part in the goal. Kraft, who's not always appreciated by the Baggies fans.
I saw him up at the Hawthorns against Tottenham a couple of weeks back, and he was man of the match. He was really hard working in that middle ground, used the ball well.
Now Wigan have to try and use the ball well. Bullard bobbled through.
Sure hands, hasn't he, so far? Thomas Kuszczak, he's done everything asked of him. Another bobbly effort.
Goal. But a remarkable start to the second half. Watson's ball to turn Wigan again. Campbell. There is support. Albertson.
Now West Brom did in the first half with 11 men hesitant before the break. All of a sudden, someone on the up, someone in control. I can't believe it.
Disappointed that Albertson, the hero of the moment, took a foul throw. Bullard. Taken out by Sharna.
Question mark whether there's actually a foul here. Or crowded out, Lee McCulloch. A little bit of contact as McCulloch goes down, but the referee gives the midfielder the benefit of the doubt. And he makes full use of it with that really nice slide rule pass to Albertson's path.
it was Paul Shano who is, of course, slightly makeshift midfield man. And he's getting his first taste of the pace and the power and the refereeing of the Premiership. He was expecting a whistle to go.
It's what Wigan do so well, isn't it, when they're in their prime, playing well, they hurry players, they don't give them time on the ball. And that's what Ronnie Warwick certainly did there, and he did get a little bit of luck.
Picked up, but Robinson flew out at him. Chance for Teal to cross. McCulloch by the far post, but Teal has a shot at the end. Minamoto got in the way of it, and Wigan have a corner.
It's got the crowd going, that's what they need, Wigan. Just up the tempo a little bit, be more positive, a little bit more incisive when they go forward.
West Brom have to get their marking right here. Chimbonda, oh, and it's off the bar. And back with the Bullard. It was McCulloch who was so close to levelling it up for Wigan Athletic. Kavanagh. McCulloch repositioning. That's swung away into no man's land from Wigan's point of view, but Lee McCulloch looked skywards. The ball was just a bit too high skywards and hit the bar and stayed out.
No, it's not an easy one, that's for certain. It's an instinctive reaction. He's just trying to steer it towards goal, but he's desperately unlucky because he gets really good contact off Chimbonda's knockback. And I think Steve Watson on the line wouldn't have been able to get there. Just over his head, but a little bit too high.
Very good reaction by Curtis Davis to deal with the ball as it bounced off the bar to stop any Wigan player following up. Chimbonda. Now Teal. Roberts. Teal again. He did very well with his challenge. It could have thrown off for a corner. Jonathan Greening got his all wrong.
Just building up some pressure now. Oh, Wigan, and that's added to it. Greening's missed kick. Time for concentration for West Brom.
He scored a couple of goals in his short time as a Wigan player. Ball just dipped and maybe died on him a little bit.
Well, that's twice he's got his head to it from these corners, isn't it? Darren Carter loses him at the far stick. Needs more.
Another angle where the player can look at Shano's get his body across there. I must say it is one of those. He looked at the referee and you wouldn't have been surprised if the whistle had gone in Wigan's favour, but West Brom got the break and took full advantage of it. Teal. Putting it out and feeling Robinson's making a bit of meal of this, but
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Gary Teal ran straight into him, but he stays strong, stays on his feet. Robinson, you can see eyes firmly fixed on the ball. It's a whack somewhere along the way. Oh, he's just trod on him, hasn't he, Gary Teal, accidentally.
He's been mentioned in dispatches, hasn't he? Left-sided player, international possibilities, very consistent Premiership performer. A reminder that Leeds play Wigan on Sky Sports 1. Kevin Blackwell, the manager of Leeds United, is doing his scouting, doing his homework, and he's very good at that. A man of great detail. Fine-tuning at the moment, though, on the pitch is really needed by Paul Jewell. Brian Robson may have to make an adjustment. Discussing it with Kevin Campbell. At the moment, they're down to 9.
Well, certainly don't want any more disruptions to the back line, because that's going to be so important. You sense, as Wigan push for an equaliser, got to stay strong.
Kavanagh, Sharna. Trying to stick with him. Baines. Bullard couldn't keep it down. One or two of his Wigan teammates are a bit annoyed that he went for the shot then.
So was Paul Jewell. He kicked the floor in the technical area. Far from pleased that Jimmy Bullard is trying to shot from here. He's had a few efforts and none of them have come really close today. Here we go. See what he thinks of it. Many support.
Robinson waiting for the signal to come back on. So they're back to 10, West Brom. As we move into the last quarter of the game. Certainly taking a surprising dimension in the second half. It was all set up seemingly for Wigan Athletic to dominate the second period, and they may well dominate the time that remains. They are not making chances. Martin Albrechtsen has taken an unlikely opportunity that came his way. And what are they? 20 minutes or so away from what will be an extraordinary victory in any circumstances, but particularly when it's your first away win of the season. But we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, because here come Wigan. Kavanagh, Bullard. Kavanagh again. Sit going right to Chimbonda and to Teal. Just got a touch. Leighton Baines is there. McCulloch couldn't quite reach the cutback. Baines tries again. And that went through McCulloch this time to Teal and Chimbonda.
Well, this is going to be one of those days for Wigan. Bruce Jack took a whack on the head as he came out earlier to intercept the cross. Does really well, because I think it's Liam McCulloch he's under pressure from. It's a whack for his troubles. Maybe Sharna. They keep the ball in the area. And he's not prepared for it at that time, McCulloch. He's disappointed. I think it was Roberts ahead of him that maybe got a little something on it. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was Sharna. Whacks the keeper.
Well, if needed, of course, the substitute goalkeeper is of high calibre. Chris Kirkland trying to get his place back, having been fit again after a really nasty injury, bruised kidneys. He actually had to stay in bed for 2 weeks on medical advice. Recovered. Kirkland not needed. Izzo. Carter scampering across, not just to intercept, but maybe instigate another break involving Albrechtsen, and coming from the right. But Carter, I don't think he ever saw it.
No, I don't think he did, actually. Albrechtsen shouted or not, I don't know, but good opportunity to slip the ball in.
Roberts. Teal trying to stretch the play by wide on the right-hand side, but the ball didn't get to him quick enough.
When you've got something to defend like West Bromwich Albion now, it just gives you that extra spring in your step, especially when you're not expecting to be ahead. Man down.
Teal. Roberts. Hinamoto tracked the run of Kavanagh. Right with Bullard. Albion just sitting off and dealing with the ball when it eventually comes into the penalty area, or hoping to. doesn't come in because Greening, having made a hash of a clearance a couple of minutes ago, does very well there. Roberts taken from him by the industrious Woolwork. He can't effect a clearance this time. Teal might reach it. I think Chimbonda was coming back.
Threat down that right-hand side, aren't they? Barry Teal's keeping his width and stretching the West Brom defence. There's a corner. No doubt about that. And a chance for Bullard to get a quality ball in.
Oh, coming from deep. That's Dezeu.
They're just doing enough at the moment, aren't they? West Brom. Wigan have won a few headers, but haven't been in a position to really make them count. He was under pressure, stretching back the defender.
Robinson, Watson, Curtis Davis is pretty new to this sort of thing. Played less than 20 games for West Bromwich Albion, but from what I've seen of him, he looks to the manner born at the higher level.
I think you're right there, Martin. He does. Nothing phases him. He's up for every battle that he faces. I think he's only going to get better.
Bullard. Teal. Sweeney Woolwork screening the back line.
Nigel Pearson down below. He's desperate to get that back line up. Make sure they don't just sink back onto the edge of the 18-yard area.
Bullard. Teal for Chimbonda. This is better for Wigan. It's Chimbonda and Kuja. He's relieved that the ball came within reach and then almost let it slip from his grasp.
Well, a little bit sloppy here. It's 2 against 2, but they allowed Chimbonda to slip away, but that ball isn't good enough. Really. Never quite catches it, and it's straight in the goalkeeper's arms. Another wasted opportunity.
Baines by Carter, and wasting no time getting the ball rolling again. Still got 15 minutes left. Just time enough to think about a win, let alone just getting the one back. Bullard. Teal's cross. From behind off Albrechtsen.
It was a beauty of a cross, wasn't it? Talking about Curtis Davis, and he does everything right in following that near post run, and it just eases him out. There's Albrechtsen to clear.
Bullard's corner. Emphatically away by Watson. Repositions. Baines can hit them. He's only scored one senior goal for Wigan. It was an absolute blaster at Ipswich.
Well, they did have a chance to get the unit a little bit further forward, but they stayed back. West Bromwich Albion allowed Wigan to come back. That time Baines with a shot. The shooting really hasn't been good enough today. Wigan's, how many have they had from distance? 4 or 5. None of them really have tested the keeper.
Chimbonda. It's like a little bit of play in Wigan territory, West Bromwich Albion. Wigan start again. Bullard. Roberts able to turn. That, in a way, sums up how it's been in an attacking sense for Paul Jewell's team so far.
Well, I think that's right. They've got into enough dangerous positions, haven't they? Talking about the shooting from distance, that's another one. Goes begging.
Here's a little scrutiny of the player cam now, Jason Roberts. To leave West Bromwich Albion to come here to Wigan.
Earnshaw's getting stripped off down below. Making the change. Themselves a little bit of relief up front, fresh legs.
Well, it is in a lack of appreciation of what the overall team needs are that I think Robert Earnshaw has fallen down the pecking order in Brian Robson's eyes. The team certainly could do with him to get on and use his pace up front just to hold the ball from time to time.
Well, I think that's actually his quality, isn't it? But that pace to just really give the defenders something more to think about.
Okay, that's come back off Gary Teal. A little bit of luck, but West Brom, you can't begrudge it them.
They worked so hard. Most of Wigan's good moments have come up that right-hand side, and Jonathan Greening has to work back, track back to help out his full-back from Robinson. Here he comes.
The armband's been passed to Paul Robinson. Earnshaw representing fresh legs. He hasn't got the overall know-how in this situation that Kevin Campbell possesses, but you can understand why Brian Robson's made the change.
Yeah, he'd be going out there with strict instructions, and I'd be annoyed if he doesn't follow them. That's often been the case, or occasionally been the case with Earnshaw. They don't think he follows team orders at times. He's got a job to do here.
We have turned down his transfer request, so they clearly still do want to keep him. Roberts, though, McCulloch, now Kavanagh. Bullard with Baines going down the outside. Some other wayward effort from Wigan Athletic and Jimmy Bullard in particular.
He's had a number of them, hasn't he? Doesn't look like being his day. He'll keep volunteering. He's that type of player, Jimmy Bullard. Just hasn't connected with a shot all afternoon.
Well, Andreas Johansson has been a bit-part player since arriving last January. Former Sweden international. It's rarely figured in the Premiership. He did score a couple of Carling Cup goals against Watford here earlier this season. That's exactly what Earnshaw's got to try and do. Just get himself in front, get a free kick. Albion can take their time over the taking of it.
Yeah, nothing complicated. Just make sure you get in front of your defender. Don't make it easy for them.
Last time West Brom did win away, Earnshaw got a hat-trick, you'll remember, at Charlton. But Charlton with a team with 10 men then. Here is Johansson. Teal will get a better angle, but Robinson, a difficult player to get past.
It's a good duel, isn't it? Those two, Teal against Robinson. Really close run and counter. Yet another corner for Jimmy Bullard.
You just wonder, Kevin Campbell would have had a marking job, whether Earnshaw can quite do that. Zayu, Chimbonda came in behind the Dutchman.
Trying to get closer to Chimbonda, that's through. Now he's got his head two off corners.
It's gone Wigan's way, whether it's a throw or a free kick. Zayu's only expecting a throw, and he's asking Cameron to launch it here, but the boos are because the Wigan faithful suspect a bit of gamesmanship here from Darren Carter.
Something that goes on in the penalty area. Carter up against Chimbonda. Carter actually just falls into Inamoto. It's maybe where he got the knock to his own player.
rather specialised, that West Brom, don't they? Paul Robinson, we mentioned earlier, doing that man-for-man marking job against Wayne Rooney at Manchester United recently. And it was going so well till he connected in a similar situation with the fellow defender Thomas Gardso.
The attempts on goal for Wigan, dwarfing West Brom's. Pretty even on target though, isn't it? That tells the story. Wigan's accuracy.
Chimbonda with the back header. Johansson, oh, it's a push by Roberts. Of the blatant kind.
Yeah, I think you could put it that way. Didn't really need to do it because there was still a job to do for Curtis Davies. Just got a challenge on him, something might have come of it.
Curtis Davies turned around and protesting about it. He actually should have been delighted about it because it's just ease the pressure for a moment. He's got leadership qualities too in one so young. Leading his team on. Kavanagh. 7 minutes to go plus added time. All the plaudits for West Bromwich Albion to this point. Kavanagh. 7 minutes will seem like a lifetime. And they've conceded a free kick. Goes Ariane Deseu again. Chimbonda's the one who keeps getting free. Carter trying to sit close to him. Kizak decided to come, but it's never going to be his ball. Check back the goalkeeper. Now comes Albrechtsen, and the break's on here. He's got Carter with him in the middle. Albrechtsen looking for more glory. Collett saves it. Albion are certainly depleted at the back compared to the stronghold that they've been putting on Wigan. Here's Johansson. Roberts. Ooh. Robinson really flew in there with a hint of desperation. He's got a yellow card for it.
Well, they've got a great chance to sew this up, didn't they? But that was before that challenge came in. He was nowhere near Robinson. Albrechtsen yet again showing good pace. Storming run up the right-hand side. I was talking about his composure to score the goal. That's when he should have shown something. Squared it to Darren Carter, who'd kept up with him, made a 40-50-yard run to support Albrechtsen.
From the counter-attack, this free kick. And surely Wigan are due to get something on target. As for the number of attempts that they've had, and Kavanagh does, but Kuszczak comes up with the answer.
He hasn't done much wrong, has he, Thomas Kuszczak, today? Been put under pressure. That's as good as a free kick as you're likely to see. Really, under the circumstances, bang on target. Kuszczak to the job.
They've survived another corner, and Shana pounds the ground in frustration from Wigan's point of view.
Well, Minamoto got a foot in there, but it's another good chance. Shana certainly got there first. Whether he took his eye off the ball, I don't know, but he's only 6 yards out. Maybe not his day.
And it might be Brian Robson's day. It's certainly his evening. Remember, he's heading down to the Savoy for an event put on by the football writers in Brian Robson's honour. It'd be very appropriate evening for it if they can see it through here, West Bromwich Albion. With 10 men since just before half-time. Darren Moore sent off, scoring with 10 men early in the second half, and holding on, fighting tooth and nail for what would be their first away win for 10 months in the Premiership.
Well, they've got an chew on the pitch now, and it's just a question when they get the ball there in the motor into the channels. Just let the striker run onto it, try and hold it up.
McCulloch. off the mark from Jason Roberts, who is coming here today to show West Bromwich Albion how much he'd improved. I'm delighted to tell you that our studio panel of Mrs. Gray and Redknapp have voted Curtis Davis the man of the match. So I think it's a very judicious choice, but maybe a bit premature.
Yeah,
he's got 3 or 4 minutes to go.
There's a few heroes out there, aren't there, for West Brom? A lot of players worked extremely hard, particularly the defenders.
Martin Albrigtson's goal. West Bromwich Albion still lead by it. It never ceases to amaze you, football. And there might be a shock, of course, in the game between these two sides at the Hawthorns. Wigan won it very late from Jimmy Bullard. Deseo. Here is Bullard. Blue and white there lining up in the middle. Kavanagh. And free kick given against Shana. Numbers of West Brom fans have made this away trip following West Bromwich Albion away from home in the Premiership. Can't have been a pleasant experience month after month after month, but they're so close now to one of those days that makes it all worthwhile.
I've talked to a few outside before and they were complaining about the lack of ambition sometimes away from home, but they'd have been pleasantly surprised this afternoon, particularly in that second half early on. They've shown all the qualities defensively that you're asking for in a relegation fight.
Here's Teal. Blocked by Greening. Bullard has another blast. And Ball and Woolwork saying, how on earth could I have got out of the way of it?
What is he, a couple of yards away, as he was saying, he's come off the side. Sometimes matches turn on decisions like this. Saw a couple of handball appeals yesterday, some were given, others weren't, but a little bit unlucky. A chance finally, maybe.
Well, the last free kick that Kavanagh took was beautifully crafted, very well dealt with by this young goalkeeper from Poland, who's trying to break into Poland's World Cup squad, incidentally. Thomas Kuszak. Kavanagh at the other side. Battle of wits as well as a battle of skill.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to kid the keeper. He's going to stick it where he did before and swivels the hips, tries to find that bottom left-hand corner. Keeper's positioning was spot on and he was comfortably ushering that one aside.
We are into 4 added minutes. Come on, you baggies, is reverberating around the JJB Stadium. The Wigan fans getting out-shouted here, as their team has been outwitted, really. No doubt that Paul Jewell will point to the absence of Henri Camara, but there are plenty of West Brom players missing from Brian Robson's selection today. But here's Teal, and Roberts stopped by a good foot in by Watson, and he fouls Robinson.
Well, they've got themselves into enough good positions, there's no doubt about that, isn't there? Times where they had a chance to cut the ball back, or they've had a couple of headers. They just haven't been clinical enough. A tough one for Jason Roberts against his old team. Nothing really has gone right.
Imagine how Darren Moore's feeling. We know how Paul Jewell's feeling. They're feeling totally frustrated. West Brom on the brink of a very, very famous afternoon in the Premiership. They haven't had too many away from the Hawthorns. Earnshaw trying to hang on to it, but he's lost it.
Two chances to pass the ball. Earnshaw trying possession.
Yamamoto gets a foot in. Zeu only played out off the Kenichi Inamoto.
Treading water there in Inamoto. Through a lot of work, covered a lot of ground.
2 added minutes left. Teal has to go in. It's a deflection that might be cruel. Should have scored, but there's a goalkeeper absolutely determined not to be beaten.
That's quite brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's almost got too much time to think about this one, Jason Roberts. The side foot, if I'm being honest, Jason Roberts maybe could have just stuck his foot through that and found the roof of the net. Gives Kuszczak a chance, but taking nothing away from the keeper. Top class.
Well, they've dropped right in West Brom now as Inamoto gets ahead to it, flicked a little bit further forward by Earnshaw. Bullard in towards Shana. Weight of numbers not enough for Wigan Athletic.
I think the last one, the last chance they're going to carve out. Wigan. Time on his side now.
Last few seconds. And they're lining up to get it away. West Bromwich Albion. It hasn't gone out. Kept in by Earnshaw. The referee's had a look at the watch. Inamoto is trying to pop it down to Greening. And Greening whacks it into the stand.
I just wonder how important these 3 points will be for West Brom at the end of the season.
And it is 3 points. Brian Robson's going to have a great night tonight down at the Savoy, but he's had an even better afternoon at the JJB Stadium. Make no mistake about it, this is a phenomenal win for West Bromwich Albion. Their first in an away match in the Premiership since March last year, and they've done it playing the second half with 10 men, a second half in which they scored the only goal, scored by a player who got his first goal for the club, Martin Albrechtsen, and the lead preserved by Thomas Kuszczak and the rest of the gang, really, because they were all heroes here. Albrechtsen only sent on as an extra defender to cover for Darren Moore when Nathan Ellington, who'd come back to the JJB hoping for this sort of result, that he'd play a part in it, he had to be sacrificed. And Albrechtsen's first goal for West Bromwich Albion has given this depleted team in terms of numbers, but not depleted in terms of character. They had that in abundance. They had the fans here in abundance as well. And Wigan have got to take this on the chin. It's West Brom's afternoon, and how. Wigan 0, West Bromwich Albion 1.